I think that, you recognize the voice of the Lord when you come to the Lord. And then oftentimes, we think it's our mind that, oh, that's just my thought. But this is a relationship that the Lord wants to develop with us. And for me at first, it was, I thought I had just been making stuff up, but it was actually the Lord speaking to me, Jeff.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people, they think they're making stuff up, but it's actually the Lord speaking to them.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So, where do you want to go with this, man? Like, I know this was really on your heart in terms of talking about hearing God's voice. I don't know if you want to bust down into some testimonies of times where you did. I just kind of want to like give you the floor. Like, where do you want to go with this?
Yeah. How about we start off with the times that I thought I did, and then how even God used that to change something inside of me. How about we bring the cookies just down a little bit and then help people. And because sometimes people feel like, well, I can't hear the voice of God. I can't be used like that. And, I remember in 1999, I went to a Youth with a Mission in Chico, California. And there were so many people that had testimonies of stepping out and going to certain locations. They would meet certain people. And inside, I wanted that, but it wasn't showing up in my life.
Sure.
And one night I was praying. I said, God, would you speak to me? Would you reveal something? I hear all these testimonies and the staff are encouraging us to step out. And so one night I had this impression to go somewhere, that I would see someone and that the Lord would show up. So I told the other, students at YWAM, and we get in a car. It's late at night. We're driving and I can't find the place that I thought that I was going to see, nor can I find the people that I thought that I was going to minister to. And we pull over and I was in the passenger seat and I was devastated. Absolutely devastated. I started crying. I was 21 years old, started crying. And there was an individual that became a Barnabas to me in that moment. And they said, Chris, you didn't fail. And I said, guys, what are you talking about? There's no one here. We didn't even find the location that I thought that I was going to see. And they said, no, you didn't fail. And I said, guys, I don't understand what you're talking about. And they said, Chris, you didn't fail. And I said, guys, come on, let's just face it. There's no one here. And this is what they said that changed my life, Jeff. And this is what I want the listener or the viewer to hear right now. They said this, Chris, most people wouldn't do anything. They would go to church every week. They would hear a message and they'd never step out in faith. This is what they said that changed my life. They said that God loves your heart. He loves your heart, that you would be willing to take a step of faith. And that freed me up, man. That took the pressure off of me, Jeff. It took the pressure off of me to try to struggle to hear the voice of God. Yeah. And then I got to rest in the presence of the Lord. And from his presence, he began to make things happen. It was no longer this thing about, I got to try so hard. It was more about, I want to just abide in the voice and the presence of God and be listening and giving me the freedom to step out in faith.
Dude. So I have two stories that come to mind. One was I was listening to the radio because I was kind of in this process when I was in YWAM as well. You know, I were both YWAMers. And I remember I was sitting there and I was like frustrated because I was kind of weighing these different options in my mind of things I was seeking the Lord about. And I was really frustrated because I was like, am I going to get this wrong? Am I going to get it wrong? And I heard this song come on I was listening to like a playlist and I was like, it was a song I never heard of before, but I was like, this sounds like this artist. And then I looked and it ended up being that artist. And in that moment, God used that. And he was like, how did you know that was that artist? I was like, because I've spent time listening to their music. And he goes, exactly. He's like, and he basically was confirming a word that I thought was God, but then, you know, you get the doubts that come in and you're like, but like, is it God? Is it God? But how did I ultimately hear him correctly? Even at the time I was conflicted. It's because I spent time listening to his music. It spent time listening to him, his voice in his word, you know? And I think that is absolutely paramount. Is there's so much anxiety that we have, especially young people, not even just young people, of like, am I hearing God correctly? Am I not? And realizing I'm at the point now where I'm like, when it's God, I know it's God. But it's because I spent time listening. I spent time listening to his voice.
Yeah, it's like, one of the things that I learned right after that is go into my room, shut the door, take my Bible out, take my journal out, and listen to his voice. Discover how he's speaking to me. And man, but that helped free me up to be able to pursue in faith incredible things that God wanted to do.
Come on. Yeah.